Mr. Bean's Amazing A to Z. So, this is another magazine that I used to collect religiously as a kid. And by religiously, I mean I read the first one, I then subscribed, and then they kept coming through the door for the next year. And I read all of about 3 of these in total. But this one, I do remember, this is the first issue. This, as you can see here, it is Aardvark to Anglefish. So this is an A to Z, literally an encyclopedia of stuff taught to you by Mr. Bean himself, who, I'm going to be honest with you, he always came across a bit of a bumbling fool. So the fact that he's now being entrusted to teach me all about the world, I'm surprised he even knows the alphabet, let alone the actual stuff. And I mean, sure, maybe it's not directly him supplying the information, acting as a source for all this, but he's at the very least endorsing it. I mean, his name's on it, his picture's on it twice. I'm just saying Mr. Bean is not the first port of call I would go to for any kind of information. So despite the fact that I had binders and binders of this magazine as a kid, I don't know where they are. I assume they were thrown in the bin, and so this one I had to order online. And the fact is, someone has put this like in a protective wrapper. Like, who's trying to protect Mr. Bean's Amazing A to Z? So let's crack this open. So from what I can remember, the first issue came with this. It came with like another secondary magazine behind it, and also some stickers. And no matter where I looked online, I could not find any of the stickers. So I can only assume they're just all thrown away across the land. And they're called stinky stickers. So I vaguely remember them having scratch and sniff functionality. So issue 1 was 99p. It was looking at stuff beginning with the letter A, such as Africa, aliens, and the Amazon, plus potty puzzles and crazy cartoons, full of fun facts that you need to know. You specifically, you need to know this. So let's open it. This is a bit bizarre. This is a magazine that I haven't looked in nearly 20 years. So inside part 1, we've got all the different stuff beginning with A, such as the alphabet or Alexander the Great. So, dear reader, do you know the worst... So, the fact is here, Mr. Bean can't even spell worst properly. Worst thing in the world is being called that stupid idiot that lives upstairs. That's exactly what Mrs. Wicket said to me today and yesterday, and in fact she says it every day. But not anymore. With the Amazing A to Z, I can find out everything about anything. Soon she'll have to call me that clever man who lives upstairs instead. Signed, Mr. Bean. So this is the most coherent I've ever seen Mr. Bean speak. So he does know the English language. And it also offers Mr. Bean's actual address. And here they've got a how to order section, so you can get any back issues you want by writing to Mr. Bean's A to Z. I would like to actually find out if anyone is still accepting letters from that address and having to read those. So let's crack on with the actual A to Z part of this. So we got aardvarks. It's a mammal. That's nice. Aborigines. Kylie Minogue isn't an Aborigine, but her name is. Kylie is Aboriginal for straight hunting boomerang. Curved boomers, but whiz back are for fun. Brainbusters. What kind of insect do Aborigines eat? Witchy grubs, wizard flies, or warlock beetles? Very nice. So, sorry, so that was a question, so there's an answer, which is witchy grubs, because they taste like scrambled egg. I mean, I've seen people eat them on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and they're not acting like it tastes of scrambled egg. Next up we have abseiling, acrobat, aeroplane. I like that here, same with the aardvark, they actually tell you how to pronounce abseiling. Abseiling. Lovely. So, wow, the longest ever abseil was 488 metres from hot air balloon. That's the height of 1.5 Eiffel Towers. Acrobats. Good acrobat needs to be headstrong. One record-breaking human pyramid in Spain was 10 stories high. That is admittedly pretty good. So we've got Aeroplane, the world's fastest passenger plane, Concorde, which flew its last flight in 2003, was the only supersonic passenger plane. Why don't we have them now? It seems like we're going backwards. And then spot the difference. Here's 2 Mr. Beans. One of them looks slightly different. There you go. I found that there's a dot there and a dot not there. By the way, do you know that the Mr. Bean cartoon is still going on? They're still making new series of it to this day. It's mad. I think it's one of those things that really appeals to foreign markets because, well, Mr. Bean doesn't really speak, so it's easy to translate. What's worse than a giraffe with a sore throat, a centipede with athlete's foot? I don't. Okay. That's not really a joke, though, is it? That's more of just a comparison. Like, what's worse than a giraffe with a sore throat? The Holocaust. So this is Africa. This is the whole continent of Africa reduced to one side of A4. And most of that's taken up with a giraffe, which I assume is native to Africa. So here's the longest river, the River Nile. The fastest animal is the cheetah, which can run 65 miles per hour. So we've got Aikido here, we've got the air, just the air as a whole. We can't see it, but it's all around us, and we need it to live. What exactly is air, and what does it do? Thunder is the sound air makes when it expands after being heated by a flash of lightning. So you guys are actually learning some stuff here. Bean scenes. I think this is just random pictures, screenshots from the show. Trouble always follows Mr. Bean, from medical mishaps to sending Teddy up in flames. You don't need eagle eyes to spot the chaos he causes, but you need them if you want to find the answers to these pesky posers. Number 1, how many times do you see Teddy in these 56 pictures? Jesus. Yeah, if you want to keep real occupied, you can just spend, like, what, hours just looking through these screenshots? That's mad. Next, Aladdin. That definitely doesn't seem like that's worthy of an A to Z listing. I know Aladdin. Aladdin the house next door. Great insight, Mr. Bean. Thank you very much. The genie in Disney's Aladdin movie was voiced by Robin Williams and Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson. Then we've got albinos. These animals look all white to me, Teddy. Alexander the Great. Algae. Some flamingos are pink because they eat algae. The algae turns pink when they are digested. Why do the fish blush? Because of the seaweed. Quality. Muhammad Ali. Alice in Wonderland. Aliens. Okay, let's learn something about aliens. Movie makers think aliens might look like this. Thanks. That's really insightful there. In 1996, a piece of Martian rock was dug out of Antarctic ice. Some scientists believe it contains tiny fossilised bacteria, proof of alien life. But other scientists argue they are too small to have once been alive and could have come from Earth anyway. Is bacteria able to be fossilised? Seems so small. Then there's a Mr. Bean cartoon. I'm not going to read it. Alligators. So alligators here are as worthy as all of Africa. I mean, they do seem quite interesting, actually. So, type of creatures, they're reptiles. An alligator lays 30 to 50 eggs in a mound of earth and sits on them for 9 weeks. The babies squawk before cracking their shells with special egg teeth. Mum digs them out and carries them to the water. She guards her babies for 3 years. The Alps. In 1991, hikers found a mummified Ice Age man in an alpine glacier. Scientists examined his 5,300-year-old body and found he had eaten deer for his last meal. In his back was an arrow made near his home. He was killed by someone he knew. Oh, was he killed by someone he knew? Not an accusation. Okay, the alphabet. Which 2 letters are bad for your teeth? DK. Decay. Okay. Alphabets have been spelling it out for about 3,500 years. Not all contain letters, some use symbols instead. Aren't all letters just symbols anyway? Each letter or symbol of an alphabet represents a sound. I know, okay. I'm not too sure what the exact age bracket this magazine was aimed at, but I think I might be too old for this kind of information.
Mr. Bean has a brilliant new magazine series, Mr. Bean's Amazing A to Z, full of fascinating facts about amazing animals, science, famous people and much more. Did you know an alligator can grow up to 3,000 teeth in a lifetime? Or that Kylie is the name for a boomerang? There are puzzles and cool quizzes to test what you've learned. And special pull-outs to help you with your projects. The first is Ancient Egypt. You get stinky scratch and sniff stickers with every issue. And a sticker atlas to keep them in. Week by week, build up Mr. Bean's fun, funny, but surprisingly useful encyclopedia. Mr. Bean's Amazing A to Z.
Amazing!
Some mind benders. Mrs. Wickett's word search, alien invasion. There's the Amazon. The Amazon River contains 20% of the world's fresh water. That's interesting. Fish and nips. Are they allowed to say that? Piranhas swim in the Amazon, so watch your toes. These ferocious fish devour their food alive and tear meat off the bones in seconds. People living by the rivers use the razor-sharp teeth to make weapons if they can get close enough. Then there's some snakes. Unlike most snakes, anacondas give birth to live young, up to 40 at once. Amphibians. What happened when the frog parked its car on a double yellow line? It got towed away. In March 1996, it rained frogs in Croydon, England. Scientists think the critters had been sucked up by a small tornado. Hans Christian Andersen, he wrote The Ugly Duckling, The Snow Queen, The Emperor's New Groove, presumably The Little Mermaid. The Andes, say and ease. And then there's Mr. Bean's Andes skiing holiday. We have androids. C-3PO, the fussy droid from Star Wars, is a real clever clogs. Not sure if that's a fact. Anglefish. What do you call an anglerfish with no eyes? Anglerfish. And then, in next issue, which I don't think we'll be reading the next one. I honestly thought this was a lot more of an extensive, all-over encyclopedia and a long read, but this is pretty not worth the money. In the next issue, we get the binder. This is what the binder looked like. And here are actual evidence that there were stickers. So this is what they kind of look like. I'm seeing it just looks like 2D stuff. I think you can scratch them all, so that would probably smell like maple syrup. So you also get a second pull-out project, which is what we didn't get in this one. So maybe it was more extensive because it came with like a second magazine. Your next set of stickers. A binder to keep your issues safe, and there's the answers to all the quiz stuff. And next issue, we can learn about ants, apes, Asia, and Aztecs. And then on the back, the person has filled in the crossword. Can you believe it? The special word was chocolate. Isn't that lovely? So that was Mr. Bean's Amazing A to Z. I'm not sure if amazing is the correct classification for this magazine. I mean, it was fine. I'm not really the age demographic, and I don't think I'd buy it nowadays, despite the fact that I just did for a pretty high markup. It was fine. Join me in the next one when we look at, hopefully, a more interesting magazine. Bye.